You may have heard or have worried about yourself whether or not Botox will make your wrinkles worse. Well, I am here to demystify that for you, to tell you absolutely not, but also explain the why behind my answer. I'm Dr. Lynn Neiman. I am a board certified anesthesiologist and I am an aesthetic medical provider at my practice, Blossom Medical, in Winchester, Virginia. I am so excited that you joined into this video today, and I hope this gives you content that you find valuable. Obviously, if you do, I'd love it if you'd like and subscribe below. And let's get into all the really detailed information here. So I've had patients ask me this a number of times in the chair in my office. If I stop doing Botox, am I going to look worse? Is it going to make my wrinkles worse? Let's talk about what Botox does and how it works and what you can expect if you were to stop doing Botox at a later date. So, Botox works by treating muscle. We think about it as a wrinkle treatment, right? That's what you've always had in your head. That's what you've heard. It treats wrinkles, it treats lines. But Botox is a muscle treatment. Botox acts at the place where a nerve communicates with a muscle cell to contract. And what it does is it blocks that signal from the nerve to the muscle cell. And as it blocks that signal, a muscle just can't contract as well. Our muscles of facial expression are really very unique. Our muscles of facial expression start on a bone and they end in one of two ways. So they either end kind of tangled up with another muscle or they end by attaching to the back of our skin. So when our muscles of facial expression contract, what happens is that that muscle shortens and it actually pulls on the back of the skin. And as that muscle pulls, that's what creates the lines that we see on the surface of our skin. And as that muscle pulls over and over again for years and years and years, those lines can become deepened and etched in where those muscle attachments are. That's how our muscles or our lines of facial expression form on our face. And that's why Botox treats them, because it's treating the muscle. The muscle doesn't pull as hard. We don't see those expression lines on the face. That's how it works. So what we're doing is we are relaxing those points where the muscle inserts on the skin and allowing that skin to kind of, if you will, sort of flatten out or airbrush out. And that can happen. So if somebody has, let's say you're a person who's never had a Botox treatment done before, and maybe you're in your 50s and you're coming in and you've got some 11 lines that have been there for years. We'll treat that with some Botox and you'll notice them kind of airbrush out. They may not go entirely away because your skin has had that constant pull there for a while. And so the Botox treatment should make it softer, but it may not make it go entirely away. I tell my patients kind of this analogy or this sort of visual, I think, to help you understand about the way that lines form in the skin. I want you to think about if I were to mail you a picture. Let's say I had a beautiful photograph and I wanted to get it to you. I would either put it in a mail and I would write on there, "Do not bend," right? Because I don't want anyone at the post office to bend that. Or if it was a larger print, I may roll it up and put it in one of those mailers and send it to you. And when it gets to your house, you might unroll it and might want to go back to that rolling position. You might put some heavy things on the side and kind of iron it out, but it's nice and smooth and you can still see that smoothness to it. Now, let's say I take the same photograph and I fold it and I make some seams down the side and I send it to you. When it gets to your house and you take it out of the envelope and you flatten it out, you're still going to see those seams down the side. Why? Because those have been etched in over some time that it took to get to your house. Likewise, your line on your face that's etched in, like that line on the picture that I mailed to you, may not go away entirely over time with a Botox treatment. Why? Because it's not a wrinkle treatment, it's a muscle treatment, and you've had repetitive pulling on that part of the skin. Hopefully that makes some sense to you. But always with a Botox treatment, it should be airbrushing any of those etched in lines, making them softer because we're reducing that pull on the place where the muscle has pulled over years. Or we're going to make that line go completely away. That's the way that Botox works. So if you're worried about what happens if I've stopped doing Botox? Will those lines suddenly be really deep because the muscles, I don't know, come back stronger or something like that? My answer is no. Think about it this way. What we're doing is we're pushing the pause button on that muscle, pulling on the skin. So now we're starting to airbrush those more etched in lines, like the one in the photo those lines that we have. And we are reducing that kind of roll that we had in my photograph that I sent to you in a mailer with our expression lines that get bigger and smaller as we make expressions. The Botox is going to tamp those down, airbrush those, make those softer overall. When you stop doing Botox, you are just hitting that pause button again and allowing your muscles to come back to life and start pulling on the skin. So you will have lines again in the future, but they won't be any worse than when we started doing your Botox treatment. They actually will be starting from a new set point because we've improved those lines overall by treating you with the Botox in whatever interval that we've treated. So whether or not you decide to do a Botox treatment and stop and move forward, or whether or not you do Botox treatments for years and then decide at some point it's not for you, we will not leave you in a position where those wrinkles are worse. They will be better and you will be at a better set point than before you started. What I will say to you is just a word of caution that if you have used Botox for 20 years, you have still had facial aging in those 20 years. So there are other things that happen. You have bony changes underneath the face. You have changes in the amount of volume that you have in the fat pads of the face. And you will have had changes in the collagen of your skin. So your skin is not going, and your skin and your face and your facial structures are not going to look exactly the same as they did maybe when you started or had your first Botox treatment, but the wrinkles and lines in your face will not be suddenly exponentially worse because you stopped doing a Botox treatment. It's like a pause button, treating that or hitting that pause button so that you're not making those lines deeper and that you're airbrushing those lines out. I hope that that was a really helpful explanation for you about how Botox will not actually make your lines worse if you stop using it. If you think this content is helpful or valuable to you, please like and subscribe, and obviously share with your friends if you think that this is information that they might find helpful or valuable. Again, I'm Dr. Neiman, and you can come and see us at Blossom Medical in Winchester, Virginia. We have a link to our practice down below, and you can certainly schedule a consultation with us. And if you are not in the Northern Virginia area, we do offer virtual skincare consultations and would be happy to help find you transformative skincare that will give you beautiful, confident glow by maximizing the results you can get with products, medical grade skincare products that are fantastic and also curated especially for you. So link below if you would like to do any of those things. And also feel free to make any comments if you have questions, concerns, or you need a clarification. I would be more than happy to do that for you. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope that you found this educational, informative, and it will help you make choices that are good for you and you feel are safe and informed. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Have a beautiful day.